Hello, my name is Shannon Riney, and today I have the pleasure of speaking to you about the characteristics of the autism spectrum disorder. Specifically, I'll be discussing three categories. The first category is the cognitive and neurological characteristics of an individual with an autism spectrum disorder, ASD. So, first, you may, a parent who is concerned about their child having autism spectrum disorder, their first sign of their concern may come from developmental delays. Their child may struggle with babbling, just eye contact as young as 18 months. So parents of young children before the age of 2 can sense that something is abnormal with their child, and that can consist of wanting to not be held, sensitive to light, sensitive to some of the five senses, and their ability to make some milestones compared to their same age peers. They also may be observing that their child is self-absorbed and not on a play date. They may not want to interact with other children, may be fixated on toys and things around them and only want to engage with themselves. Their fine, gross, and motor skills may be impacted. They may have a difficulty speaking and articulating what they want. They may have trouble with just picking up certain toys or interacting with certain toys. And this is all in the aspect of a young age. It looks these developmental delays and being self-absorbed, it looks different at different milestones, say in an age group, elementary school student, middle school student, high school student, etc., as well as their social development. We start to see this a little bit more in the K through 12 spectrum in regards to just not wanting to interact with peers and following those social norms, which we'll get into when we talk about the behavior and communication characteristics of a student or individual with autism spectrum disorder. Moving on to the behavioral and sensory characteristics of an individual with autism spectrum disorder, they are fixated in certain behaviors. They get stuck on something and won't let it go. For example, they may be stuck on a sign being pointed a certain way. So, and they also have repetitive behaviors. They may need to walk in and out of a room a couple different times. It kind of mimics the OCD disorder, but they have the repetition of doing things over and over and over again. They often are gravitating toward a structured routine. Any type of change, most individuals who have difficulty with this, they need to be forewarned that their schedule is going to change, that someone new is going to be interacting with them, that they may get a new classmate or a new teacher. They need to be pre-warned of this, or else it could cause a lot of aggressive behaviors in regards to their schedules or daily routines being interrupted. So some abnormalities in the behavior and sensory category in regards to individual with ASD is their reaction to sensitivity to the five senses. So sight, smell, hearing. These things can be hypersensitive. They can be hypersensitive to them in regards to light. The light could be too bright for them. The sound can be glaring to them. So these are some of the things that affect them. We've learned in research today that sensory diet, being able to support those needs in regards to giving them enough, if they're not giving enough of a sensory to be able to plan times in their day, will they be able to do things visually or do things by touch? It's considered a sensory diet, and that has been proven to be helpful with students. Communication and language characteristics, speech, and pragmatics, picking up on idioms and figurative language is a difficulty with individuals with ASD. They often struggle with that, which it comes into not picking up on sarcasm in different social settings. When we're talking about middle school and high school and adult individuals with ASD, that becomes a level of difficulty. Nonverbal cues of someone, making a facial gesture or something to let them know they are uncomfortable with that. Individuals with ASD that's something that they struggle with. That's an abnormality for them, as well as augmentative and alternative communication. The acronym for that is AAC. There's aided ones and unaided ones. Unaided ones look at sign language, picking sign language as an unaided one, being able to pick up on the using facial cues or facial gestures once taught, being able to use those are unaided ones. Aided ones consist of innovative technology in regards to using a computer board and touching a picture or touching a word that sounds back. This aided supports as far as like pen and paper and being able to write down responses is a basic aided support, but it's an aid because you're using those things to be able to communicate. And with the augmentative and alternative communication, individuals are able to communicate and they're taught these things, and it happens to be a great benefit to them once they're taught. Social characteristics can also be a level of abnormality for individuals with ASD. They prefer to be alone. They only initiate conversation when they only to obtain what they want. So if they see a toy or they see a figurine, in some cases in my middle school setting, or they see an object that they want, they will incline to talk in those regards and saying, I want that. They fixate on particular topics. I have a student now who's really into football, and that's all he wants to talk about, and he does not pick up on the social cues from other students wanting to move on from that topic, wanting to not talk about it anymore. They become fixated with those topics. Again, unaware of physical boundaries, so they can get really close or invade someone's personal space because they're just unaware that that's a social cue. They have difficulty making friendships, so a lot of schools would combat that with IBI groups or social settings where it's a structured setting where they have an instructor. They're teaching them how to interact and how to make friends and how to engage in conversation, how to take perspective and turn taking and have empathy, because that's something that individuals with ASD, they often struggle with the social characteristic. They don't have empathy for others, their feelings, their opinions. It's about themselves, and they just don't pick up on those cues. So to support that in the school setting, there are social groups, there are different organizations, and school culture also plays an effect in supporting those students with making appropriate friendships. In regards to preferred and non-preferred tasks, most individuals, some characteristics in the social setting is when asked to do a non-preferred task, it can result in tantrums or aggression or not being able to really engage in that because it's something that they don't want to do. And that concludes the 3 sections that I have in regards to discussing the characteristic of individuals with autism spectrum disorder. It was the cognitive, behavioral, communication, and the social characteristics. It's important to know that autism, the spectrum, it varies from child to child, and it varies from developmental age as far as what these things may look like. For a student from, say, preschool to high school, they can improve in their social interactions because they're taught and be given the supports, and so those characteristics of their disability may change. And so it's important that we remember those things as we go out into the world and support these individuals with being their best and authentic selves. Thank you so much for your time.